Hello and welcome to ECS North American region. We have two best of threes coming your way. You are joined, of course, by James and Dan. Matt, Henry and Yanko have gone to yellower pastures. I don't know what the opposite of greener pastures is, but these are the green pastures, Dan. Therefore, their pastures are inferior. These are the pastures they want to be in. Anyway, our first match is going to be, who's it going to be, Dan? Cloud9 and?
NRG.
And NRG. And the maps are going to be?
Where's this, Jace?
I'm involving you.
We have the veto coming up as well on the fancy overlays, which is going to reveal things anyway. But it's going to be Cash, Mirage, and then Dust, which was, we actually opened Europe with that as well. Although we never got to the Dust, which
this
is
spell needs to be polished, Dan.
We never got to the Dust, which is unfortunate. But the thing about this is that for me, at this point, I'm so happy that Cloud9 did the veto correctly, because if you're playing NRG, you should always be. There should never be a train. That you should never allow them to play train, essentially, because I think that, it's just clear with their results. And if you watch their games, NRG, they love to play train. It's probably their best map, and we've seen them be able to get that pick so many times, and that has often baffled me. But we're going to be moving on to Cash, Mirage, and Dust, and that's actually a good map pool for both teams. I think we should have a pretty even game on our hands. And of course, one thing that we're still looking at is how Slemmy's impact is really affecting the team. I know Moses, he made a video quite a while ago stating essentially that the sole purpose of Slemmy is just to take the pressure off of Nothing's shoulders, because it wasn't a good fit for Nothing, to allow him to do his thing again, and then essentially, Slemmy has room to work with this team as well. He's got a lot of skill to work with, also in calling all the strats and so on. So it's interesting. There's lots to be done with this C9 lineup.
Order should be better than anarchy for the team. So we'll see how this goes over time. Just before we get into the pistol round, we gave away a StatTrak USPS Orion earlier, and we also gave away a cobblestone case. The contents of it, which ended up being the royal blue pistol, which is cool. So today we're going to, for North America, we're also going to do another USPS Orion StatTrak, and another cobblestone case will be opened for both for subscribers. So make sure you get in the chat and doing your buttons and all that crap if you want to get involved in those giveaways. And actually, I think in the next 2 weeks we're going to go a bit nuts with the giveaways, Dan, because these are giveaways from last year that were left over. I haven't even started with this year's giveaways yet, so it's going to be mad giveaways. I'm going to be spamming you guys something rotten.
All right. Well, as far as this match goes, getting back into the match discussion, one cool thing has been actually the development over time of NRG. The problem. So I've just been told that NRG won the knife, and they will be selecting the T side, which is really good to see. This is a trend we started to see in Europe quite a while ago. I'm not sure if it's been happening commonly in NA, just because I've been reinserted into the North American cast with this league, of course. So, but back in Europe, Fnatic were one of the teams to first start picking T-side over and over again. And it's part of the reason is because this map has become quite T-sided due to the fact that teams have really started to understand CT rotation, all the types of grenades you can throw for all the different effects. For example, how to properly take bomb sites with nades and play anti-force fires and so on. But into the pistol we go, and looks like NRG are lining up for that A play.
Indeed, Cloud9 have abandoned mid already. They, as you saw from that smoke grenade, it did go and cover off Z connector. But now they're rotating away from A. Going to have a look at what is going on in the mid area. Slemmy will have a quick peek and see that there's not much going on. Seems like they heard the boost coming in there for Skadoodle, because they're going to check for him straight away. LEGIJA will take him down, and the bomb site is with NRG.
All right, this is looking quite interesting. Gob is going to get a boost onto LEGIJA to go around the rotation, and that's not going to work out. Perhaps too fast on the push there. LEGIJA could have waited maybe for info from his teammates before going for the flank, as the team Cloud9 had not fully pushed into the site yet. So that's an edge given away. We'll have to see if it matters here, as the carnage is to begin. They're in the bomb site, and so far it's looking fairly even. Down a man are Cloud9, but could all turn around at a moment's notice. There's a quick couple pops from Nothing. Can't get the last one. God B will survive. And despite the donation of LEGIJA earlier into the round, it will still be won by NRG. And you've got to love the idea that they, actually, I don't know if I've actually seen a team go back and boost someone to go for the flank. Usually they've just left someone in T warehouse or something, but that was actually straight up, let's just run in there and then boost over to catch rotation.
Yeah, they basically wanted to flank the retake, which is something I think needs to happen more often with that kind of pistol round on cash. But there we go. 3 players over towards A for Cloud9 on this eco. Nobody has bought Kevlar, so they're keeping their money intact for the most part. Pop flash seems to be coming in, but I think it will be saved. Indeed, nothing's holding a flash, should it be required. But Stewie going to have a very cheeky little peek. See there's only one person they're holding passively, and therefore they will save the utility to fight at another time.
I've decided, James, that I'm ready. I'm ready for Cloud9 to be a top team again.
You are?
I'm ready now. I've been thinking about it for a while, but now I'm ready. So therefore it must happen. And Stewie2K is going to make a quick push happen. Gets actually a dink on the Peter, down to 12 HP. That is a little bit painful. But one thing to note is that Cloud9 didn't really invest very much in this round. This is not a force buy. This is just a few pistols. And it's like Gob's had enough of waiting around. Just going to jump and dive straight in on top of the A-bomb site. Clean up the initial player. Stewie2K is dead. And now it is time for the rest of them. Only one frag made by nothing. And all is well in anti-eco town for NRG so far. That said, they lose 2 players. So
that's it. 40% loss.
Oh, that was close to a third there. And Peter's really low too, so okay, a little bit scary, but it's okay. It's all good.
Shrewd with that dirty money. There's swag stickers and there's Murica down.
Oh no.
If you have that pistol, you have to call it Murica. Apostrophe Murica, as mine is called.
I think Franklin is close enough. It's fine. It's implied.
You could call it P. Diddy Benjamins. P. Diddy's Benjamins. I might do that.
I wouldn't want to steal from P. Diddy though. I don't think that's a smart.
Didwell.
That's not a smart life choice.
He should change his name to Didwell. Anyway, enough about P. Diddy.
Wow.
Cloud9 are going to be on their final eco again. They haven't bought any Kevlar, so they're going to have a better buy than most on their final round, and that's probably an instant impact from 10, I would say. Although I'm guessing somewhat, but it's not often you see that much of an eco on cash. But I like the fact that we've seen it.
Yeah,
nades are important.
It's really smart as well. It's also possibly due to the fact that Cloud9 are giving respect to NRG's ability to anti-force buy, because there's 2 sides to the coin. There's force buying because you feel like you can get some frags in, and obviously if you're able to get frags, you do get some kill reward plus the ability to damage the opponent's economy, and sometimes you can win the round. So that's great, and on some maps it's more effective than others in the chances to win a round. But equally, the other side of the coin is that you won't have the AWP out, and the AWPer you might be able to squeeze an AWP out there maybe, but there's going to be no nades on him. Kevlar's going to be gone, so you don't get the optimal buy. And so they've respected maybe NRG's ability to go for anti-force buy rounds, and with the players like LEGIJA and Gob on the team, that's what you would expect them to bring to the team.
Well, now we get into the buy round, round 4, the second interesting round in the game so far. Skadoodle is going to be in the mid position with the AWP, looking at the boost. Lower is smoked off. Peter's holding the off angle.
Flick of the wrist versus Dirty Peek Pete. I like it. Which will win? The Dirty Peek Pete. It's like Peter Piper picked up. It's like mad tongue twisters going on.
Interestingly, despite the 2 ecos from Cloud9, Skadoodle still has no armor in the first buy round. I mean, if you have 1500 after the first round, I want to say you can buy an AWP without. If you just proper hard eco for 2 rounds, you can buy AWP no Kevlar at the very least. So it's a bit surprising that he doesn't have any armor. Possibly a miscalculation, because I don't think it's. If you're going to go for that proper double eco, then your AWP should have armor. Anyway, nothing has a lot to hold on to, but no hands to do it with because he's blind. Can't see anything. Down he goes. LEGIJA looking for the continuation spray there. Not going to get it, but it's 4 versus 2, and Cloud9 are in a sticky situation. Stewie thinks that attack is the best form of defense. Maybe he's right, but not on this occasion. Going down to LEGIJA close to the car. He thinks Skadoodle alone. Takes down LEGIJA, but now they know where he is. Will they hunt though? There's 3 of them left. And he is a dangerous human being with that gun.
He is
There is a quiet flank coming in from Justin.
And the thing about NRG as well, NRG is essentially the team that is the danger to all these teams who should be on the top level and have a lot of name value, such as Cloud9, and have a lot of skill, but they're off balance due to the fact that they've had lineup turmoil. So NRG is the team that capitalizes on that fact and is elevated due to that. And during the time that those teams are fixing things, you might find out that NRG are actually a lot better.
Justin wants the ace, Dan. He's searching for the ace.
By the start of the season to the end, I think we could see a lot of improvement there, or maybe even good placings from NRG. So they're a one to watch for. That is absolutely sure. Especially if you're a Shaq fan as well.
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny, Shaq and
Rick Fox trolling each other.
Yeah.
I have no idea who Rick Fox is.
He's an NBA analyst.
He's a basketball person. I know that much.
So it is Peter looking for the opening kill there with that AWP. And so far, he will be able to find one. That's a nice way to start this kind of a round. And they will walk into quite a few players here, but they should be able to trade against them. But the flashes coming in from Cloud9 are actually spot on. And now they're able to steal away a weapon. That should absolutely have been this should be a 4 versus 3 situation right now for NRG, but instead it is a 4 versus 3 in the other favor. Cloud9 looking much better, in fact, picking up the weapons. 2 AKs now, on top of the AWP that's on Skadoodle. But all is not lost. There's a minute left in the round. 3 versus 4 is very, very doable on a map like Cash's on the T side. And you can see they're slowly rotating back. Now, will they take mid, assuming that Cloud9 will give up mids? Or how will they play this? A lot of teams would go for the mid pick, or rather try to take at least mid with 1 player, but...
I think with 3 players left, they need to play the numbers game and push a site. Because it's going to be hard for Cloud9 to, despite them having a man advantage, it's going to be hard for them to exploit it if these guys stick together. Have they seen Skadoodle? He's certainly seen them. HG's coming in, and Skadoodle will reposition. And now the CTs can play the numbers game. They can allow the Ts to take the site, allow them to plant the bomb. And they can all come in for the rotation. Skadoodle taking Peter down as well. So it's a 4 versus 2. So Slemmy still hasn't picked up any rifle though, just a pistol for him. But the numbers game strongly in the favor of the C9 side now. LEGIJA playing around the smoke there. Nice first kill. Slemmy is close. Got to dodge Skadoodle as well. Oh, sees him, goes back to the well one too many times. Unable to do it. Justin alone now versus 2. One is close. Tries not to get traded here. Might need to go for a bit of a no-scope. Nice, gets the no-scope there, but Skadoodle will finish him off with the USPS. And I think he's got time to defuse the bomb.
Yeah. A lot of damage done in that round, but Cloud9 will pick it up. And this may end up being a little bit scary, to be honest, because NRG, they're going to have plenty of bank to buy, I should think. Yeah, they've got plenty of bank. And Cloud9 will spend everything now. So Cloud9's economy is going to be a little bit weird if they lose this round. They can't. That's not really something they can let happen from this point. So let's see if they're able to hold on. They've got Skadoodle, obviously, AWP as the AWP. And hopefully, yeah, you can get armor this round. Upgrade.
Bonus.
Get some armor.
Bonus round.
Nice. I'll have some armor with a side of warp.
A nice early Molotov to thwart the plans of NRG early on. I think if you're close to the boost, then you can use the ridge. Oh, LEGIJA. Getting a bit cheeky there. That is not how you throw Molotovs into the vent.
No.
I don't know what he was... I do wonder what his plan was with that, because there's nobody outside B to punish any CT. Or maybe they were simply trying to force somebody away in order to try and take mid.
But you can still throw that Molotov safely from obviously from, even I know that Molotov, James.
But if you know that Molotov, then there's surely no excuse.
There's no excuse. Exactly. The one from behind A main, it is a running one, but it's pretty easy to make it consistent.
I guess it was a timing thing, but you know, it's risk rewards. Yep.
Yeah, it's very easy to call him out because Shroud was there, and you know he died. But of course, it is.
That's why it's wrong, Dan.
Well, that's obviously a little bit outcome-oriented hindsight analysis, but generally speaking, yes. Throwing the Molotov like that is a little bit risky. Now, again, this is instead of a 3 versus 4, it's a 3 versus 5, and Peter's going to kick into mid. He's going to get shut down there. That's unfortunate.
You got baited, son.
That's unfortunate. However, his two teammates will walk onto the A site, which is interesting. And with 5 players left, you do think that that should be a difficulty for T side. But instead, looks like the battle will not be won for the NRG player. He was on the site. And Silent's just going to have to fall back, try to save the AWP. And oh, Nothing's going for some tricks there. Able to make the jump. Very nicely done. Looks like Silent's getting caught off guard there by Shroud in T-spawn. So things are looking pretty good here for Cloud9. They're going to make a lot of money out of that round. And NRG back to the drawing board, but they do have enough money to buy. I actually got B purchasing an AWP there. I figured with some players on quite low money that he would have just dropped an AK. But in fact, he's dropped a Peter and AWP. I actually do like that though.
You need Peter on that AWP, definitely.
That is a very good point. And Silence taking the sacrifice there, being the guy on the CZ. But if he's been watching any Flusher demos, he will be fine.
So it begins. Skadoodle holding an off angle this time, which is good to know. I'm learning, Dan. I'm learning how to peek mid without exposing myself to the boost right now with Skadoodle. Lessons by Skadoodle. True story, once Skadoodle beatboxed on demand for Nothing in FACEIT offices, while Nothing freestyled the rap. This was quite a surprise.
The tracker sacrifice there, though, is that you need somebody on white box because you have no idea if they're actually moving into mid from that position. That's the only sacrifice. Also, quite easy to smoke that off, of course, as well. If the NRG side do decide to try to go for a bit of a mid take.
It's interesting, actually, the smokes there, because sometimes people throw smokes which land just in front of the step there, like the ramp. And if they do that, then you can stand on the rail and see over the smoke and they can't see you. Or they can just about not see you. But here we go. NRG moving towards the A bomb site now. And it is a retake situation for the Cloud9 side. We've got smokes all over the place. That's an interesting smoke. I'm not sure if it's supposed to go there. We can talk about that a bit later on. Either way, the frags are coming over to the NRG side. The bomb is indeed planted. So 3 Cloud9 players left. Trying to close in on a 2-round lead for NRG. It looks like it's going to be 3 because the CTs are going to save. So I just wanted to say, normally you see the high smoke land on the balcony. But interestingly enough, I mean, I want to say that it's a mistake that it's landed where it has, but I know that, for example, Taz has been standing on the wooden box behind red on the A sites. As of late, we famously saw him ruin an NIP execution onto the site by standing there, facing the wrong way, avoiding the flashes and turning around and killing everyone, basically. So, you know, there's a chance that maybe it's deliberate. I've never seen a smoke land there before. And it still pretty much created a wall. But obviously it will leave a place of exposure, but it didn't work out for the CT. So, you know, if that was deliberate, then NRG will have their angles covered. If it wasn't deliberate, then I just don't know how it gets there by mistake. It's curious.
Well, it's going to be Cloud9 back to the double AWP after losing the round. So that's a very expensive situation, but they obviously think that's their ideal setup, at least to deal with what NRG have to throw at them. But they know that Peter's going to be looking for these AWP tags. But he's not going to be able to find anything just yet due to the incendiary. Although the incendiary was not perfect, it's enough to deter Peter just for a moment. But the flick is found. Skadoodle able to see just the gun poking out there. And with deadly precision, the flick lands. And that is the end of Peter in this round. And that's unfortunate for NRG. The pick phase is likely going to be over now. LEGIJA will pick up the AWP in his stead, in Peter's stead. But they need to find a way onto a bomb site now. And there's 2 ways to do it. Either you just obviously go to the site, or you take middle and then you go to the site after you have the mid control. Mid control is very, very powerful on this map. And LEGIJA will be occupying mid alone though. A degree of solitude found by LEGIJA. But not for long. Slemmy is here to ruin the peaceful, tranquil middle area of Cash.
That's actually a helpful nade for the Ts because it popped the vents, so they can venture into it with no warning for the CTs, which is something they have to be aware of. Also compromises the places that they can stand, although I think Shroud is hiding behind a box, so you can just wait on the second vent to be popped should it go there, but it's not going to. At the moment, nothing going to be pop flashed in by a teammate. Perfect timing as the Ts do exactly the same thing. Does he realize there's a second player? Doesn't seem so. Silent takes him down. Justin going to be wrecked by Stewie on the site, who's hiding behind the smoke. Silent goes for a big jump there, but Stewie punishes him for it. Very nice snap there by Stewie, showing his competence with the AWP. And Cloud9 survived with 4 players, both AWPs intact.
Yeah, you can see that Cloud9 just ate up the slow play from NRG. Again, there's 2 issues there that NRG have to deal with from Cloud9 when they're trying to play a pick-based style like this. And obviously, firstly, it is the double AWP. You're playing picks against double AWP. That's usually going to be tough, especially if they have good AWPers. And we've got Skadoodle and Stewie, so definitely good AWPers. And then the other thing is that Cloud9 are playing very passively. So to find your angles, it takes a very long time, and you may only get 1 shot at it. And if you're in the wrong angle, like, just have some bad luck, it's not going to go well. And, oh, Skadoodle just pulling away just at the wrong moment. But that's aggressive angle from the AWP is very, very deadly.
That gives the entire game away as well. Because obviously, if he's that close, then there's a potential he could go for a boost. And you can see the T's are looking for it. LEGIJA down to the MP7.
But you can see that Cloud9 are, again, just focusing on playing, generally speaking, despite that 1 push, very passively, trying to allow NRG to make the mistakes in peeking them with these AWPs. And we're going to get a wall of smokes in mid now, which is good. Skadoodle will see that, but there's not much he can really do from that position safely, so he has to fall back now. So the A split is due for NRG. Will they be able to execute this? 2 AWPs to worry about. Here they go.
Yeah, there's 1 player on the site alone, that's nothing. They haven't smoked off quad, and he's going to get traded. Although Peter's going to be taken down by Stewie towards the car. That's going to make it hard for the T's to cross. There are 2 coming up from highway. Skadoodle taken down by Silent. Man each taken down for either side. Now we've got 2 CTs coming up highway. Bomb gets planted at the back, but there are flames everywhere. Justin might get forced to face highway, actually. Just got a corner where there's no smoke. So he manages to hide despite 2 CTs on highway. I can see Silent over towards Forklift at the moment. I think he's above at the moment. And he is the last man standing for his team. Spotting Stewie, but he wants to know where the rest of the team are before engaging. No choice now, no bullets left either in the magazine. And down he will go. We'll see if the CTs can save both AWPs again. The defuse, yeah, he's going to delay the defuse so Shroud can retrieve the second AWP, it seems.
Is it a magazine, James?
I think it's a magazine.
I don't know, James.
I feel like there's that one person out there who watches, he just has a 6th sense for every time we're going to say clip or magazine, and then he's going to tweet us and say, well, actually, it's not X, it's Y, in that voice.
Yeah, I just, it's one of those things that I have to like write it down.
No, you know what we need to do? We need to have like a day at the Territorial Army, and they can teach us like guns.
All right, you do that. I'll play some Counter-Strike. All right, here we go. We've got a quick push in. Just pistols though from NRG. The expectation is set very low with no nades. Well, very few nades. And this Quasi is not really going to be able to do all that much. 1 frag is probably one of the best results that they could hope to achieve. It has been achieved, but otherwise this will be shut down. And going back to the playstyle of Cloud9, I think NRG with a snappy set piece onto A or the B bomb site, well executed. That should be something that they should absolutely try at least once. Because against double AWPs, you can just cut those out of play immediately to at least get the bomb down. Then you're forcing the AWPs to, once the bomb is down, to move into you, assuming that they can take the site with the set piece. That is generally what it's designed to do. So playing that, versus the pick-based style, I think would be superior right now, just to at least throw Cloud9 off their game, because they're just playing so passively. They're just allowing NRG to peek them and into these deep exposed angles most of the time. Well, it's still pick-based play here for NRG. You can see that Peter's trying to get himself in on the pick here indoor, and that's a lot of damage done to 2 players. Around 50 damage dealt there by the incendiary.
Chunks, Dan, chunks.
Chunks of death.
Nothing close to... Oh no, he's in A main. Well, this is a problem. Well, what is the play from NRG? That's the question here, because if they go for smoke execution into A from outside of main, with nobody in main, then they could run in there. You can see where the bomb is positioned at the moment, and then they could get fully wrecked.
Look how pushed Cloud9 are in this round. They've got 2 guys in B storage, 2 guys in A main. There's no place to breathe for NRG. They try to move out into middle, but there's Slemmy. And there's a lot of frags made in middle, and now the boost comes in from Shroud, so he can potentially get the flank on. And only 1 player left, it's LEGIJA. They've been completely outplayed this round by Cloud9. In fact, not necessarily outplayed in the conventional sense, but they made some mistakes, James, and they got punished. The mistakes were in their in this kind of a round where they have a default opening, they don't have any map control.
They had no presence in A main, save for somebody maybe peeking it, and they sent the bomb there on its own.
Yeah,
which is a problem, because if somebody has, I think even if the bomb carrier was holding the angle there, if somebody's gone past without his knowledge, and the bomb goes down, then the round is going to be very hard to hold on to, as we just saw.
Yeah. I don't know if it's NRG giving Cloud9 too much respect as well, or what that is, but it's very nice to see the Cloud9 are abusing the fact that, again, look, oh, there's nobody here. So Nothing's getting a lot of info for his team early into the rounds. So what are NRG going to do here? Again, it's a quasi-buy from them. Few pistols, or rather 5 pistols, and 3 Kevlars. Gobby with a nade in. Nothing's going to spot that. Nothing's kind of caught in a false sense of security. The door rush is actually going to pay off here. Stewie has to pull out the pistol because all he's got is pistol and AWP. And all of a sudden, frags are being made. And there's a chance right now for NRG in this crazy round.
3-man retake for the CTs, and there is a flank coming in all the way through mid, it seems, from Peter. But the bomb is planted for main, so he better be fast. Silence on the site with the AWP as well, so perhaps he might have been a better choice. But so far so good. Takes that one play, gets traded though. Peter with the P250. So Peter's rotated with a P250 all the way through to mid. And now Slemmy has a bit of a crossfire. Justin's baiting him. Justin will finish him off. I'm sure Peter will collect the AWP as well. Indeed he will. So NRG back to winning ways, tying things up once again after losing in the lead.
Yeah, so that's kind of a weird spot because obviously 3 guys walking door and then rushing out the door as Nothing is kind of pushed. Now the funny thing there is that I think obviously to some extent Nothing is still trying to capitalize on the fact that so much space is being given by NRG, and that's one round where it really bit him in the backside because he couldn't decide whether to actually hold in A main or just sit on the side a bit more passively. So it's really good that NRG punished that. But now they've got to keep the ball rolling. They have picked up double AWP here, James, on the T side. They seem very adamant at making the pick style work.
Yeah, well, I mean, Silent's been landing some shots. Peter's obviously the AWPer for the team. Stewie2K, though, seems NRG are having problems just with their approach to A main in this particular match. Seems that Cloud9 have read some weakness there, and they are punishing it. Stewie2K is having a whale of a time. Molotov coming in as well. Oh, Justin gets tagged through the door. This is not the start that NRG wanted. He's going to jump away, which should give... that might be the clue to Cloud9 that they have done some damage there. Justin going back, and I think he might have shot through his wall, but he is playing a fire there with only 9 HP on the doors. 1 man down on the Cloud9 side, so they still have a man advantage here. Surely soon to be 2. I feel like Justin's going to get shot through the door there at some point. Going to finish him off, put him out of his misery. Meantime, the other 2 players for NRG are over towards mid, so it seems they want to wait for exactly that to happen, and indeed it does. So Nothing still on the site here, over towards the forklift area. Door is open, but he's going to face Chorse instead. Gobby gets dinked, but that will be that for Nothing. Slemmy, if he can take Silent down here, then he's got a real chance to do things.
Yeah, they're so weak right now. There's a huge opportunity here for Cloud9 to make this retake work with all the nades they have. They got full nades, James. Just any number of these nades well placed, incendiaries and everything. This is a wet dream for any CTs facing a retake. All these nades, T's incredibly low on health, but somehow Nothing's going to work. And that's a really interesting round here because you get two opening picks here for Cloud9. And then there's a trade, and it seems really interesting due to the fact that both Cloud9 and NRG in that round seem just so adamant on just trying to go for these aim battles. These just straight up aim battles all across the map, and NRG this time managed to make it work despite going down a couple players, just constantly trying to re-peek into one AWPer, James, which seems very suboptimal in some respects.
Oh, Gobby's taken the Dayik. To the jaw, Dan, to the face, to the dome, to the cranium, to the eyes, to the mouth. Taking the full force of the 1D. The full force, Dan, all the way. And NRG looking to exploit the B bomb site now. And they have a good chance of getting a bomb plant because Shroud is alone, but he still gets the 1D completely blind, Dan. He gets a blind man's 1D. But how many more can he get? He's got Skadoodle coming into the rotation. 2-man advantage for the CTs. Yet to frag on the NRG side. As I say, that shroud goes down on the side. So perhaps the bomb can go down. But look at this. The CTs are streaming in. Peter's got an AWP. He can only take down one at a time unless he gets lucky. Justin to thin out the numbers. So it seems NRG, I was going to say, keeping the guns out to kill as many as possible. But the bomb is indeed planted. Skadoodle gets sprayed down. There goes nothing as well. Slemmy's picked up an AWP. It's a high one. Justin over towards Headshot, going to get tagged. He's charging in with a pistol. Not going to happen for the man. And an expensive round for NRG, but they do take it as we move into the last round of the first half. 8-6 for NRG.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, quite a weird match in many respects too. Another one as well to bring up from a conceptual standpoint is that NRG in a lot of these rounds, Cloud9 have specifically been trying to play, you know, the double op style. And it feels like NRG, instead of trying to play into their weaknesses of their opponent, they're trying to play their opponent's game and just trying to best them there. And that mentality gave Cloud9 a lot of rounds, I feel like.
Stewie put a really weird smoke into A main, where he lined up against the wall. You saw that, and he put it like inside A main as opposed to towards the door, perhaps to suggest if there were any C's in there that somebody was pushing and jumping on the boxes, just to waste people's time. So trades coming in over the boost spot, and Stewie is just moving around on the A side. I thought maybe he was going to push into A main once again, but he's not going to. So once more, it seems the NRG default is to leave the bomb outside the area towards Squeaky. Skadoodle taking down Silent towards B, and he's going to rotate and leave Shroud alone on the site there. You can see the bomb has been picked up once again. So are we going to have NRG moving into main with the bomb on its own again? Seems so. I mean, the numbers are, they have 3 left, so it's more reasonable here. But you can see LEGIJA's coming up mid. There's a trade situation going on as well. So they're all isolated at the moment, the NRG side. One in main, one in Squeaky. And now Justin is rotating, perhaps to give support to Godby with 35 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, another round where they slowly dismantle one by one. And now it's a 2 versus 4 situation to deal with. It's not a pretty one. It is, in fact, grotesque. But let's see if they can pull something out of the bag. Stewie cognizant of the jump over the red container, but first frag one by Gob. 10 HP going for the plant. Oh, it's golden nade does it. Skadoodle all over the place there. And it's down to Justin now. He's got 5 seconds left on the clock. He's got to get a bomb plant, and the CTs know what they have to do is survive here. And the frag will be won. So that's a 7-8 first half. I really feel like NRG could have created a lot more rounds on their T side here against Cloud9. But that said, again, we don't know how Cloud9 would have defended, even if NRG, let's say, went for a more anti-double op style instead of kind of, let's just constantly challenge the ops, which is the style that they went with, which I got to say is kind of a bit crazy.
This was the pick of NRG as well. Cash. So, I mean, 8 rounds on the T side is quite good.
Yeah. It's all right.
But you think they could have got more?
I think they could have got more, yeah.
So.
Well, leave that over there.
Well, no, well, I mean, do you want to elaborate on?
Well, I mean, yeah.
You mean just playing against the
yeah, I kind of brought it up in the game. Like, there didn't seem to be a lot of diversity in their strategies. Basically, they tended to just stick to, again, like just trying to play picks and trying to play off of a pick-based style instead of trying to use grenades to take away map control and to basically eliminate the ability for someone like Skadoodle to even take a shot before they've taken map control. There was very limited space where they, let's say, would push, put a lot of men into mid to just get a mid take in there, delay the round a little bit, play safe, make sure that you've got presence towards A and B to stop the CTs pushing for information because they don't feel like it's safe. We actually saw Cloud9 did a really good job punishing them because they didn't do that. The round where they had Cloud9 push 2 guys in B storage and had 2 guys in A main, but that's nuts. I haven't seen that in a long time, actually. A team actually get that much map control as a CT side on the other side of the map, which obviously tells them everything that's going on. And there was like a mid push and NRG got completely crushed from both sides. But yeah, essentially, after that presence, you can take middle, and that's map control that you have then, and you can play off of the map control. But they were trying a different approach, playing off the picks basically. So that's the kind of difference in concept that I would have liked to have seen, just to see what would happen. Because when they're playing 2 ops, it's going to be a different pace for Cloud9 to deal with. which would have been interesting to see. But they went with what they went with, and it's an 8-7 scoreline, which, as you say, is quite workable, to say the least. So let's see if they can close it on the CT side, or if Cloud9 will have a resurgence on the T side.
So NRG have opted to have the defuse kit onto LEGIJA, 2 flashes as well, and they are indeed playing retake A, but a bit different in that they have Silent fairly close on Highway, who can offer some help should a B split come in as well. And we've got LEGIJA just spotting things over there. So it seems that they're suggesting a short play, but that is a kind of a weird smoke actually. And it seems that NRG are reading it as a bait and they're moving over towards the B bomb site. And well, it looks like from what I'm seeing that they have the right read, but they're not necessarily willing to commit to it just yet. Cloud9 looking to push the B bomb site now, where there is a player in the back, which is Peter. But is he willing to reveal himself just yet? Can't get the headshot into Skadoodle. The double peek might come in from Slemmy as well. Indeed, Slemmy will take him down. So it's the one man he had maybe revealed himself too early. So the team's getting all the kills at the moment. Silent is alone versus 4, and surely he's soon to go down. Skadoodle is taken. He's got time, but no kit. LEGIJA did have a kit, but I'm not sure where he is. Nice headshot there. Now he can get himself 1 versus 1, looking for a trade fragger. Now he's in an awkward situation. Only 4 bullets left. That is an important shot, but surely he does not have time to defuse the bomb here. Slemmy just running around. I respect it. Try and make the best of the situation, a bad situation. I think Peter could have, well, actually, you can't really criticize him for peeking there because he has no idea what's behind the box. Maybe he finds 2 people there and gets 2 headshots and wins round for his team. Maybe he peeks and nobody's there. Then he comes back, goes forth, and gets shot in the face, as he did. So nothing wrong, really. I do like, I mean, that smoke from Cloud9, that can't have been where it was supposed to go because it just looked almost random, its position. I like the idea, though, but it requires a bit more practice.
Well, it's now the pistols, and NRG have decided to not really invest too much in this. And yeah, and that's again, you know, that's we talked already about the trade-offs of investing more or investing less as they have here. This means that they will absolutely have a lot more to work with on the 4th round in the second half. But for now, it is just going to be about trying to catch some players here off guard. And it would be really nice to see if kind of in the middle of the round, when the T's are starting to take a site, if you can try to find a way as the CTs to try to isolate a player and pick off a weapon. That's always very, very nice if you can bring a weapon into the 3rd round. Now, Justin's going to have a nice angle here, headshot angle, if T's should make their presence known towards the lockers, and soon they should be doing just that. Nothing here watching the flank for Cloud9. And oh dear, Peter actually able to win a 1 versus 1 towards the B bomb site. Now, Peter's going to get a Galil out of that as well, not even a Mac 10 player. So here comes the push. The damage can be done. Leaping over the top there, Justin with a lot of damage. Silent finishing off the weak player. In goes the push from Justin. Can't find any headshots though. Very unfortunate. But Peter's able to steal away a Galil there because the player looking for information on the B bomb side, well, had the Galil instead of the Mac 10.
Nice.
But you can make arguments for that as well. As you want Mac, if you're like rushing a site, Mac 10 is really good. Actually better than the Galil. If you're clearing out the close range spots, you can run and jump around with it, which is really, really important.
That's a nice blue skin.
That is really nice for Peter as well, because obviously, actually, I am quite curious how NRG are going to play the CT side. Obviously, Peter's going to be AWPing, but I haven't seen much NRG on cash. So I'm quite curious to see how their setups will end up looking.
Yeah, I suppose we've recently been focusing on them playing train, so this is a mystery that is yet to be solved, and as far as we are concerned.
It's something we should see more and more of due to the fact that, as I said, like it's such a clear favorite is train for NRG that people really should be banning it. And just as Cloud9 did, Cloud9 insta-banned it, which was good to see. And this is also an opportunity for us to see this the impact slowly but surely of Slemmy as the in-game leader now of the team for Cloud9. And Silent's actually going to get drops the Galil, and Silent will get some Kevlar with it, which is nice. Which is good as well, because, you know, Peter is not going to really want to invest anything more than what he has, which is $500, flashbang and a PT50. I like the fact that he has a flashbang with his PT50.
How much money does he have left?
I don't know.
Can we see the cash very briefly? S'il vous plaît. Peter has 3,400, so you can buy the AWP next round.
Yeah.
No problemo.
Absolutely.
That is, I think that's the minimum for AWP and Kevlar, no helmets. No helmo. Whatever that means. Ooh, LEGIJA getting closer to 5-7 is, what's one-shot territory? Is he willing to hold the angle? One day I'm just going to run around cash and look at all the graffiti on it. I just spotted some more on the B-bomb site, which I've never looked at before. Anyway, looks like Cloud9 are going to be moving for the split. We've got the flames, which will restrict the CTs from hiding behind the boxes on the site. And indeed, LEGIJA will burn. He will be barbecued down, covered in sauce, etc. Gobby has a USP, and flying MP7 comes in. Then often see flying MP7 to finish things off.
Yeah, well planned, well played there from Cloud9. Good little execution to their set piece onto the B bomb site, and that's going to give them a decisive advantage here on the second half. But how long will they hold on to it? We've got the AWP in on Peter, and indeed 2 flashbangs, an AWP and a Kevlar. Let's see what he can get. He's on the B storage angle immediately. Cloud9 playing this one a little bit slow, cautious of early aggression. And that is a passive angle. That is he on the sign? Yes, he is. He's on the sign in the spawn.
I love this angle. It tilts people so much as well when they're on eco and they start pushing B and you're in spawn with a scout and you shoot them, you always get messages afterwards. It is very satisfying indeed. I've seen riflers hold this angle and they look through the meshed fence. But I wonder what impact that has on the damage of your bullets. Like this, basically. I just go for the open one more to the right. But it seems that he wants to be very sneaky indeed. Nobody pushing just yet over towards B for the CTs. LEGIJA taken down in mid. So those are the eyes gone in the mid area for NRG. We have Gobby over towards the car position on main, on A. And perhaps we'll see him rotate a bit later on. But for the time being, it seems that Cloud9 are setting up for a B split.
Yeah, you can see the pop flash shot up there on the A site. But yeah, after that pick, you can see a lot of danger coming Peter's way now. And this is going to be the same mollies as the last round, which was an anti-eco round. So you can see the finding utility there into their buy versus buy. And Peter's stuck on the side. This is a very awkward position to have an AWP in. He'll get the first frag, throwing out the flashbang to keep himself alive. Oh, chance there for Peter. Gets the second one. And now it is just a case of winning these aim battles, 1 versus 1s. And here it is, Skadoodle against the world. And it's the world that will crush Skadoodle. Gobby and Simon pick it up. That retake, that's amazing actually. If you look at that as well, everything, there was fire and smoke everywhere. The only thing really stopping them was Peter on the site. And he's in probably the worst position to have an AWP in on the bomb site.
Yeah.
Because you can't fall back. You take a shot and then they're basically in your face. But the flashes were so good from his teammates.
It's nice to see Cloud9 using Molotovs though on the execute.
Yeah, I mean they played that really well. To be honest, you know that's a round where they shouldn't be discouraged. They got a little bit unlucky, I would say. I think they played that round very well. They got the pick, went into the B set piece. They were unlucky not to win that round, and now that's a big opportunity for NRG, as we can see. What they're up against is not the best equipment in the world. 3 rifles, AK-47s, couple pistols. A decent amount of grenades. They can definitely pull off a decent side take with those. And NRG themselves actually have no money if they lose this round. So this round is worth 2 for both teams, essentially.
So it appears that the Cloud9 side are setting up for the smoke executes. And again, this is what I'm talking about. You often see this execution coming in. But when it does, there's nobody in main for the team. We saw the bomb moved in on its own for NRG on their T side, and they lost it and lost the round. These Molotovs here for Cloud9. What is going on, Dan? They're actually executing on the T side.
Yeah, this is looking really good so far, but Justin still by quad. Quad is can be a big problem, especially if someone flashes for Justin. But at this point, there's no CTs left to do that. Do they even realize that he's here? Oh, I was really hoping for the double there, but that is not to be. 3 players surviving. Cloud9 with just a straight up set piece into the A bomb site. Find success. And NRG perhaps a little bit confused to see what we're seeing as well. is all the Molotovs being used to make their life very, very annoying.
Yeah, this is great.
It's very good. It's very good indeed. Right now, Cloud9's T side is looking a lot better from that perspective. That we know that they know how to pick this map, but they're showing us that they also know how to run set pieces on both bomb sites, which is dangerous.
It's anti-eco time now, though, Dan, and this is notorious in North America, and it's already starting to go wrong.
Well, Cloud9's previous anti-eco round was on the B-bomb site, and they ran that set piece, and it worked very well for them. This time, though, it's looking very awkward here. This incendiary Molotov that was picked up is very annoying. Slemmy almost dying there, in fact. But 3 versus 3, will this be saved? The rotation comes in from the CTs as well. This feels really awkward at the moment. There's lots of time on the clock. Cloud9 do not have to push A. They do not have to go A immediately. If they do go A, they can wait a lot of time. Maybe the CTs will rotate a little bit. And they force the CTs to essentially gamble at that point. Do they stay on the bomb site, thinking that maybe they're being faked out, or do they rotate players?
All things considered,
they're rotating.
If Cloud9 are careful, then you saw there's a bit of a check of a flank there from one of the Ts moving into main now. And I think, that can be okay. Dangerous, but okay. Reasonable, but now they're moving into the site together, which is also just as important. Slemmy's got to be careful, though, just down to 12 HP. Justin looking to bait there. Sees nothing gets tagged. And indeed, the flank does come in. Slemmy takes him down. The low HP guy, Skadoodle, will take down Justin. And nice. Cloud9 will survive the test. So nicely done.
That's beautiful.
Cloud9.
They had calm. They had some presence of mind after the craziness. Slemmy gets those 2 kills, and they're like, all right, guys, let's wait, which is, I think, definitely the right call. The CTs, after some time, forced to gamble a little bit. They rotate a little bit back. Then they actually use the Molotovs that they still have to then still get rid of the most dangerous positions that they feel like need getting rid of. So lovely to see that from Cloud9, and 2 very important rounds picked up in that sense.
Yeah, it looks like Slemmy was a good pickup for the team.
Yeah,
I mean, it's early days, but market improvement in terms of utilities.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they are very motivated into a new direction in general after a period of instability and unknowns. So NRG on the Cozy.
Look at all the Molotovs.
Yeah, they're being used a lot. This is actually fantastic to see.
When will we see CLG do this then? That's the question.
Well, one thing I wonder, actually, because I do wonder if they've been watching like your NIP, for example, because NIP's T-side and cache is also rife with Molotovs. And right now we're seeing a similar playstyle from Cloud9. They're not allowing the CTs to play setups that they want to, because what you do with a Molotov is you deny positioning. You force a CT to move from one spot to another, or you eliminate, you gain knowledge of a spot that you can't see, because there's a box there, there's a Molotov there, no one's come out.
There's a box.
Then that means there's nobody there. So it gets you information either way. And now this is great as well. So you got the pressure here from Stewie. He can provide a lot of threat in towards the B plate. He's actually going to he'll just catch God B there as his teammates move into the A site. So another great round here from Cloud9. They take a bit of map control. They use Molotovs to make it safe. CTs are caught guessing. They capitalize on rotation that's caused from the threat into checkers. Walk into A. That is how it's done. It's very, very nice.
So Cloud9 looking good on NRG's pick at the moment. 4 rounds ahead at present, and NRG will be back on the bye. Reasonable amount of nades. Will we see some aggression from NRG on their CT side, as we saw from Cloud9, who were continuously just taking map control like they were playing an RTS game?
And one thing you'll note as well is that Skadoodle is not getting an AWP when he can very well get AWPs. And it's due to the style of play that Cloud9 are deciding to go for. Look at this approach. They know that it's working. This time they're just going to throw some flashbangs in and just go in without the Molotovs. But they'll get picked off here. 2 players down here for Cloud9, but they have the bomb site and they can get a plant out. So there's always a possibility, 3 versus 5 with the bomb down. As the T's, all the flames are making it life a little bit painful, but Slemmy is able to back away into safety. Here come the CTs though.
Yeah, 2 versus 5. I like how they're just playing hard reads to try and wreck the CT side here. On this occasion, it seems that the NRG side might claw things back. Stewie, though, versus 3. It's going to do some damage to the CT economy. They got the plant down as well. Despite not being short of money, they will get that bonus 4K in for the team. NRG will close the gap somewhat, but Now, I mean, look at the money left on NRG. And that's why it's so important that they survive with 3 players, because if they were to lose the next round, then maybe they can field a buy with the money they have left from the less that they would have to buy than they otherwise would if they had lost more players.
And there's still such a world also for NRG to try to, or rather for Cloud9 to try to force NRG into this bad situation. There's still a world of variety for them to choose from. You know, they've shown some diversity. This time, Skadoodle will take the AWP, so they can play a default, they can play it slow. They have a very passive hold. They can see, again, standing on the signpost and T-spawn is, I believe, nothing. Yep, there he is. This is what you were talking about, just with the rifle.
Yeah.
And that's really, really nice. It's a good information play. It's very safe, but it looks like Justin's going to take down Slemmy in A main here. Slemmy was supporting Skadoodle's pick approach into A main, and that's not going to work out. So now what most teams would do in this position, where you lose the pick battle, and it's 5 versus 4 on the T side, you go for the delayed mid take. The only problem is the player under boost. But if you use grenades correctly, it shouldn't be too hard to deal with. You can very easily Molotov that as well.
Interestingly, it seems NRG have a read on what Nothing likes to do in T-spawn, because they put an aggressive smoke down, and Peter creeps through the smoke into Toxic, which is allowing his teammates to rotate elsewhere on the map and bolster defenses in other places. Nothing taking down LEGIJA though, so we'll see what Peter can do. There's still a player in B, because they have to be wary of the vent push now that the mid area is in control of Cloud9, but Silent keeping an eye on things there. Taking Skadoodle down, traded by Nothing though, who is alone versus 3. Bomb is collected, but what really can he do in this situation? A would be the right play as Justin is alone here. The shoulder peek coming in, and he is not going to peek again. Can hold an angle. Peter gets taken down though, trying to push. So now it's 1 versus 1. Nothing knows that worst case scenario. There's one person over here, and Gobby completely misses the shot there. Flash comes back in, Nothing blind. Thinks he's in the smoke, but no, he's just standing completely exposed. And now he's dead. Quite
an interesting situation there with Nothing, but yeah. So Cloud9 losing that round, but again, you can see what they were going for. They tried to get the pick in A main. Didn't quite work out due to the fact that Slemmy got picked off. I think Slemmy was actually a little bit more forward than Skadoodle was, and Skadoodle was picking with the AWP, so not sure exactly, we didn't see exactly what happened, but either way, a guy died in A main. So it left 4 players. They went for the delayed mid take, which is the best solution, because you don't want to play for more picks at that point. Because if this is what shocked me with NRG, because NRG in this situation on the first half, they were in that situation where they'd lose the pick battle, but then like another player would pick up the AWP from the dead body and then try to peek the AWP who's still on the angle. And this like blows my mind, because again, if you think about what happens if you lose that next frag, you're then 5 versus 3. And a good CT side shouldn't let you, I mean, your odds should go down dramatically at that point, right? That you should definitely lose that run at that point. So they realized, okay, one guy's dead. What do we need to do? We can't play picks. Let's go for map control. They took away middle, but then the problem became when they lost the 1 versus 1 through vent, and that's when everything fell apart. But otherwise, I mean, we're seeing good cash play on the T side from Cloud9, and they do look like they should have everything all the tools they need to win this first map.
Yeah, there's only a 2-round lead now, so NRG are definitely catching up. Again, this is the pick of NRG, so they will be definitely wanting to win that. So things are with them at the moment, but I mean, the money's not great on either side here, so this will be an important round should Cloud9 go all in. There are some AKs in play, but the entire team haven't bought yet. So it's unclear as to what exactly their final decision will be. But again, we see great improvement already from Cloud9. We see order.
Absolutely, they have better presence of mind for strategy, and they have the coordination on a lot of these new set pieces stuff to kind of tie it together. One thing I'd love to see from them in against the buy now of the opposing team is actually a default, where the focus in the default is actually to try to take away checkers safely. Because there's a lot of ways to do that. If you use smokes to flush the CTs out of checkers without, I mean, there's always a possibility you can get shot through a smoke, but you can do it somewhat safely. And then once you just leave a guy in checkers, and then you can play the default out from there and see what happens. Because if you have mid control after that, it's very common that the CTs might kind of make a panic mistake on rotation that you can capitalize.
Yeah, I think the onus with checkers is less on making it safe to take and more making it unsafe to hold for the CT side. If you put a smoke down into the entrance to B, then there's less cover for the CT side from the bomb site. So, and it gives cover for the CTs to rotate out of checkers basically. So if you do that and you can flush somebody out behind the box, it's a risk to take there. But you know, as a half develops, you know, you can play with that in different ways basically. So if somebody goes back behind the box and you can flush them out that way, then they have to take a different approach next time and so on and so forth. So it can be quite fun. And you can do it with one person as well, although you are susceptible to pop flashes. But for most of them, I mean, Titan used to have a hold where RPK would be in checkers and Existence would be in headshot, and he'd just be holding a flash. And some shenanigans would begin. Even if you smoked that position, Existence would just throw the flash through the smoke, and then RPK would pop out from behind the wall in checkers and see what's going on there and headshot people. So there are different ways to approach it, but that one you don't really see at all at the moment. People like to pop flash themselves in off the wall in checkers to face the T side of B. But the problem is that you give sound cues when you do that. You can stand under the vent as well and bounce one off the ceiling, but again, all sound cues off the wall. If you have experience on the map, then you're going to know what's coming. Anyway, two-round lead for the T side, who are going to force it up. Two Tech9s here, Nothing and Slemmy, going to be the men with the big bad guns, or the small bad guns, if you like. That pack a powerful punch. So you've got that smoke coming in. That's the safe smoke, which is super nice. But here we go. We have an aggressive response here. So Godby will play support for the AWPer, who can take the initial shot and fall back behind the wall if he is so lucky. So more nades coming in. That's a nice counter flash here from Godby, but who's going to get the frags? Pushing into the site. It's absolute madness. Peter's made his way to CT spawn. Gets the first frag. Now Godby announces himself. That's the bomb in his hand. Flying in like Power Rangers. LEGIJA comes in, but he's going to get taken down. Absolute madness, Dan. The teams have the site for the time being, but not the man advantage.
Yeah, so this is really interesting because they don't have to commit to the B-bomb site. And at this point, I mean, they could always boost out and into mid. That's always very risky, but they could do that. They could go back, but they're going to go forward. They're going to commit heavily. There is the plant from Skadoodle, and they've actually found a plant here without losing too much health. Nothing's going to be really careful not to get too aggressive here. Finds the first kill. That's what he needs to do. Goes for the spray transfer. Can't get to safety in time. Skadoodle will get the quick kill on the player assaulting from up top, but gets caught jumping back onto the site, and the round will be won by NRG. It was an expensive one for them, and a round where Cloud9 got a bomb plant, so that's nice in respects of generating money for Cloud9. But where does it leave them? Honestly, they got unlucky that there was an aggressive setup like that from NRG, because the fact that God was in that corner still by the box in B storage.
That was great play by Nothing at the end, though. Obviously, understands that they are at a significant disadvantage and has a good read on how the CTs are probably going to be set up if they let them plant in the first place. So he goes to try and thin out the numbers. The continuation spray as well, very, very smart stuff. And you can see why people say he has potential to be one of the best players in the world in this game.
And here we go again. This would be really cool to see these Molotovs used. They've shown us that they can Molotov the hell out of checkers previously, and that would really screw NRG if they were able to kind of push in with those. But they're actually going to.
Feeling I was talking about.
They're going to fan out a little bit, leave a couple players in B storage, and perhaps go for a B split. But two players going towards A, leaving the bomb in B storage still. Interesting stuff. Now it looks like okay, they are finally rotating Skadoodle back a little bit. It kind of looked like they were going to go for a B split, but now a little bit more confused. Stewie, they're just sitting by the vent. And the bomb goes back towards A now.
Where there are still two CTs, Quad and NBK. Over towards A. With,
back to B, James.
I think LEGIJA are playing the rotation, man. I was wondering if Cloud9 wanted to, say, show the bomb or something. Maybe it's because of Stewie's positioning, actually, that they are going back towards B bomb site. Ooh, he gets through the smoke just before LEGIJA can see him, so he has no idea. But how long will he wait? Stewie, oh, he's going to push. And what is LEGIJA doing? Oh, no. That is horrible. What a disaster. Stewie gets a second kill as well. That is the worst timing I have seen this month in Counter-Strike. That's brutal stuff. And the CTs are getting completely wiped out because of that one just horrible, horrible timing.
It's an insanely important round as well. This round could decide this one because the money for Cloud9 is terrible.
Oh, LEGIJA must be fuming. And you can't, there's nothing to criticize at all. There's nothing to criticize there.
It just happens.
He did nothing wrong. LEGIJA did nothing wrong. Get the hashtags going. Oh man, that's brutal. He maybe wanted to put a flash out there or something. It's like the second. Have you seen those GIFs on Reddit, Dan, where somebody's watching an angle for like 30 seconds? The second they unscope, somebody comes out and shoots them in the face.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes in Counter-Strike, you just have to like realized that there's just nothing you can do.
It cost them the round.
You're just gonna die. Yeah, no, it's.
Oh man.
That's what makes Counter-Strike one of the things that makes it quite interesting.
I feel like I should send him flowers.
You feel free to do that.
Because that was full brutality, Dan.
Well, it is 14-12 and it's NRG's economy that's down the toilet. And they have 3 rifles.
Oh man.
One is a FAMAS. Dropped a UMP actually, and 5.7. So yeah, something going on. Cloud9, it's interesting to see what they're gonna go with, considering the stuff that they've shown us already. They have shown us set pieces for the A and the B bomb sites respectively, and also some mid takes shenanigans. So what will it be this time?
How do you not get tilted in that situation? Your map pick as well is just, it's unjust. It is unjust. Although perhaps Cloud9 deserve the victory here, who knows? Has Silent been spotted? I don't think he has. We'll see if his position comes into play a bit later on. LEGIJA has taken considerable tagging towards mid. He's only got the UMP to fight with. And the damage drop-off at distance is far worse for SMGs than it is for rifles, so would not recommend he tries to duel from that position. Although if somebody tries to push highway, he will be ready to try and do something about it. There is one player over to white box, although were LEGIJA to face, I think the players on the boost spot would face him first. Gobby's in a position to win as well. Nothing harassing over towards B. Just charging into the site is what it is. Well, Slemmy gets taken down. And Gobby's got to be careful because nothing can see his legs and shoot them before Gobby will see anything. While moving over towards A though.
Yep, they are making their way into A and it's looking pretty horrendous. It's basically over. It's basically done. Skadoodle should try to throw away the AWP somewhere. I think he just did that actually, yeah. Yeah, he did that. That's very smart. Very smart actually. And they won't recover the AWP. Very nicely done. Their money is now a little bit weird. Skadoodle can get an AWP again if he wants, but maybe they'll just go for the... maybe he'll drop a Galil or something and... Oh, they're going to save one actually. They're going to...
I respect that.
They're going to save one and then play for the...
Get nades.
Play for the win.
They can use Molotovs, Dan. They know how to use Molotovs.
That's true, that's true.
They should save. And then they should buy Molotovs.
Slemmy has one here. Perhaps he'll throw it onto... Where is he standing? Where is Slemmy? I don't know. Oh, he's towards the middle area. They're actually... It did feel like they were going to rush A, actually. If he was, throwing it down onto quad is always nice.
It seems like a dramatic turnaround in a short space of time, Dan. I mean, they're on eco and they have a plan. When do you see this?
So yeah, just a bit of a light execute, maybe a variation of one of the one of the set pieces, and we'll see if it, how it pans out for them. They'll be going for it right now. These CTs, all the alarm bells are ringing. Although that said, one CT is actually reinforcing the B defense. Not necessarily right now. Rotation is still yet to start here for NRG. Now the rotation begins as we see Justin there. Oh, sees 5 players on screen at once. That's not that is not what you want. And got B's in close actually by Forklift. This forward position is really nice, but something's going to have to force the T's to move out of position, and it's going to be, in fact, the CTs taking matters into their own hands, forcing their way in there. 2 players left on the Cloud9 side. They have successfully planted the bomb, but can they get any frags on top of that? The defuse comes in, and they probably want to die. Shroud wants to die. He gets 2 kills, which is something. And there you go. Looks like...
The thing is, they did massive damage to the CT economy. Just watch the money disappear on the CT side once this buy comes in. Look at it, just going down, down, down. Bear in mind, if Cloud9 win this round, NRG will get $1,400 loss bonus.
Indeed. It was really nice to see those, well, from this perspective for Cloud9. Like, it's so cool to see, that spot where Shroud realized, I just need to go and just get these kills right now. Right at the end, he gets 2. With the Tech 9, that's ridiculous. So much extra damage right at the end.
Speaking of ridiculous, did you see that smoke from the CT side? Look at that.
Yeah,
what do you do with that?
That is a deep, deep smoke.
You have plans, you have Molotovs. Oh. Look at this.
But Peter's in deep waters right here.
But he's got a smoke as well. He can re-smoke down. This is like Inferno. What's going on? Well, it's too late now.
Ooh, wow,
look at the frag.
Did he miss the shot?
No, he shot him through the wall.
He tagged him. Oh my God.
He shot him through the wall, or he legged him, one of the two. He probably legged him, because I was thinking, like, how does he miss that? But he didn't miss that. He was just too low down. He was too low. Like it was an R&B video, he got down too low.
Right, so Cloud9 going with a delayed mid take here with Stewie potentially. And are they going to send anyone else, or is it just going to be actually not even a mid take, but just one guy walking in there? No, it looks like they'll potentially get another guy in there. Again, if you're going to try to set up the B play, can always be nice to have two coming through the vent to trade if there is a CT down there. But God B has retaken the position that they might think is clear because, oh my God, it's going to be nothing. He's super low, and there's the wallbang coming in from Gob. Almost gets the third kill as well. Completely changing the round there is God B. LEGIJA is in the checkers area, and now any hopes for Cloud9 to try to take the bomb site seem to have been dismantled by the one German. But there's more Germans lurking around the corner here in North America, James, and that's going to be the round. Once again, Skadoodle's been in this position. Does he throw the AWP away this time? Realizing he's against two players, probably doesn't want to do that. Wants to risk keeping it and into the next round because their money is indeed absolutely buggered.
Interesting. Well, at least they have a higher loss bonus than the CTs would have had, so maybe we still have a game on our hands in what could be the last round of Game 1.
How do you play this though? You've got the AWP and you've got Tech9s, you've got all the nades.
But they know how to use nades.
Do they just go for an A rush or something like that and just get Skadoodle in A main or something?
Dan,
or does he try to pick and then they go for the rush? How does that work?
They've got 5 Molotovs. They know how to use Molotovs, Dan.
Yeah, but I'm trying
This is new territory. These are uncharted waters. This is unexplored planets.
Anymore?
These are unexplored planets. No, I mean, I was running dry on that one.
Thank God. So yeah, so they will try to go for a pick initially, which does make sense. And this angle has not been occupied by Skadoodle in the past. In this half at least. Let's see if he gets something. LEGIJA might walk into this. Yeah, Skadoodle will back away. Just at a nice time as well, because in go the nades. The Molly HE combo, the Wham Bam.
Shazam.
But not the Shazam. There's no frag.
No Shazam.
No frag.
Well, Cloud9 appeared to be setting up for an A execute. They showed some presence over towards B earlier with 2 men. Now the men have rotated. All the men are towards A, Dan. 5-man on road here. And this is the spot I was talking about that we saw from Taz previously. Will Justin jump up and try to dominate the area? We've got flashes coming in. Justin not gone down yet, though. And indeed, these CTs are holding the site. The spray down is real, and it does not seem to be working out for the T's just yet. Still LEGIJA on the site here as the Germans coming in to try and shut this down. Going to be dueling with a mere pistol on Shroud, who is alone versus 3 now. Tech9 has been reloaded, though. Everything will slow down as he is stuck on the site. He's got 20 seconds to find some kills and or plant the bomb. The molly coming in will just add to the pressure. He will fall to the flames, Dan. 16-14. Also the first time I think I've seen the final kill in a match by flames, by fire, by petrol.
And but they still managed to get an A7 out of it. That was very, very close, but somehow Cloud9 just they couldn't keep the match within their hands right at the end. I mean, some of the rounds towards like the last 5 or 6 were super weird. NRG's rounds on their T side looked a lot less structured, a lot less, you know, a bit more kind of, well, very free wheelie, very loose, and going for the picks, just seeing what happened, playing on instinct, playing on your gut, and but they still managed to get an A7 out of it. That was very, very close, but somehow Cloud9 just they couldn't keep the match within their hands right at the end. I mean, some of the rounds towards like the last 5 or 6 were super weird. Basically, like it started to get really weird, and we had spots where NRG are able to win rounds where they're definitely not favored to do so. Rounds where Cloud9 are doing the same thing back to them. So it just became very chaotic in the end. But still, NRG steal it away, and they give themselves a good chance to potentially 2-0 this now. I don't know how this is going to go.
Yeah, I mean, I quite enjoyed that, both from the two teams between each other, but also to see such improvement from Cloud9, to see such use of utility discipline. It was great to see. So I hope that continues over an extended period of time. Of course, this is only one game, so I'm not going to get too excited about it. Anyway, the second map is going to be Mirage, which is a pick of Cloud9. So we'll see what they have to offer in a few minutes. See you after the break.